Hello and welcome to Faith and Fiber with Abigail. I'm glad you could join me today. I'm here on my deck, and as you can see, it's in a bit of a disarray. We're doing a summer work project. My husband is pressure washing the deck, and then I'm going to be doing the staining, hopefully next week, as long as the weather cooperates. It is a hot day here in Wisconsin. It's in the 90s and we're in the midst of a very hot spell. So we've got to get a lot of the work projects done while we can, but in between, I'm still finding time to do some fiber art projects. Today I'm knitting. I'm working on this shawl I started a long time ago, and I just am anxious to get it finished so that I can move on to another project. So today I'm taking a break from spinning and doing some of my knitting and enjoying summer. My husband and I were out earlier today in our convertible, went for a drive with the top down, and it was so hot. But it's nice here in the shade. It's early evening and it's breezy. There's a nice breeze, so it's a beautiful day to be out if you don't mind the heat. Um, Today I am working on this project, knitting project. I'm in between spinning projects right now because very soon the Tour de Fleece will be starting. And if you don't know what that is, it's a challenge, and it coincides with the Tour de France bicycle ride race. And some spinners and other fiber artists take this time during the month of July to do some fun fiber art, spinning, knitting, that sort of thing. So if you haven't signed up or you're not on a team yet, I encourage you to do it. It'll be kind of fun. This year is my first year doing the Tour de Fleece, and I'll be spinning some lovely roving that I bought last year at the Sheep and Wool Festival. So I don't want to start that project yet. That'll be in a couple days that we start that. So I'm in between projects right now. I thought I'd do this knitting for a little while and try to finish this before the Tour de Fleece starts. Also, in preparation for the Tour de Fleece, you might need to get prepared. Get some fiber, get your supplies ready so you're ready for the race. Well, one of the cool things that my husband works on is he's been making these nice spools. It's just a yarn holder. It's not a bobbin that I can spin on my machine with, but it's just a nice way for me to store my extra singles until I'm ready to ply. This one here I just finished yesterday. It was a beautiful multicolored roving I showed on a previous video. So later today I'm going to take this and transfer it onto my spool to hold so that I have my bobbin freed up and I can use that on my machine to spin for the Tour de Fleece. And if you'd like to purchase any of these, Susan's Fiber Shop in Columbus, Wisconsin is selling these. So I encourage you to get ready, get some extra spools so your bobbins are freed up. So one of the things that uh, I do too outside of knitting and fiber arts is I like to do some writing. And I was reflecting on some knitting projects. I was in a knitters group last week, and a knitter was sharing a mistake that she caught in a project. And it made me think of perfection and how we try to be perfect sometimes with our fiber art and projects that we work. And it's great, but sometimes our perfectionism can kind of be a killer. So it created in me the thought of perfection and what we do with trying to make our items that we do, our spinning, weaving, knitting. We want them to be beautiful and perfect, but sometimes perfectionism can kill our creativity. And I put together this devotion I'll read to you. It's funny because here I'm listening to her talk about this mistake she created accidentally and then discovered it when the project was completed. And I'm knitting along in the car today, and I realized I dropped a stitch. And every knitter knows what that's like. And it took me a little bit to get out of. I hadn't gone very far, so I was able to backtrack, and I have a crochet hook. I pulled it up and was able to catch it quite quickly. But anytime a drop stitch happens, it's not fun. But it also can teach us a lesson and help us to pull back and think about what we're doing, reflect on it, and what we do, why we do it, and maybe just reflect and change our thoughts if it's carrying us into a place where it might be too negative, because we want it to be fun, and there's nothing we can do that we can't get out of. I'm learning. So here's the devotion that I wrote, and it is a work in progress. So here's my rough draft. Knit together by grace, not perfection. Perfection is a creativity killer. If you are, or know someone who is, a perfectionist, you know the signs. No matter how good the whatever is, it is not good enough. I was in a knitting group when one fellow knitter described a heart-wrenching tale of the project she was stuck on. Upon completion, much to her horror, she noticed a drop stitch at the very beginning. It had taken her countless hours of painstaking knitting. Everyone in the group felt her pain. Naturally, we want to create something flawless that we can be proud of. But the reality is, we are human and mistakes are a part of life. God looks at mistakes differently. It's better that we do make mistakes and that we realize we are not perfect, so we depend more on Him than ourselves. He alone is perfect and makes everything perfect, including us. So, and the Bible verse that goes with that. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God created He him. Male and female created He them. Genesis 1:27. Besides, in knitting, as in life, there are no mistakes that cannot be fixed. The wisdom of a sage knitter in our group offered a solution to fix the dropped stitch, much to the relief of the fellow knitter. While it is important that we always do our best and desire excellency, it is more important that we maintain a proper perspective. If our perfectionism is causing undue burdens or stress, maybe it is time to let go of extreme expectations. And sometimes it is in our imperfections that our true greatness is found. Do you struggle with perfectionism or not being good enough? Bring those struggles to Jesus and ask Him to bless you in your weakness. God, thank you that you created me with unique abilities, and I can rejoice and be glad even when I make mistakes. None are too great for you to guide me through. For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, for which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Ephesians 2:10. That is what I have for you today. I encourage you to let go of perfectionism. Yes, do a good job. Make a beautiful garment, item, project. But also maintain the perspective that we will make mistakes and they can be fixed. Well, with that, I hope that you enjoy this evening and whatever fiber art projects you're working on. And I hope you stay connected with the Tour de Fleece this month, in the month of July, and see what projects people are making out there on Facebook. People will be putting their projects and pictures out. And if you haven't done it, I encourage you to knit or spin and join a community of Tour de Fleece fiber artists. With that, I hope that you have a good evening. Stay well and be blessed. Tune in to more Faith and Fiber with Abigail. Hit like, subscribe, share it with a friend.